All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pastrami Nation, the meat of pop culture. My name is Nolan Smith, and welcome to our Comic Con at Home, one of our awesome specials happening during the week of San Diego Comic Con. I am joined by fellow co-founder of Pastrami Nation, Jason Smith. Welcome.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And we have a special guest with us today. He's always so awesome to find at the comic conventions. We are excited to have Justin Cavendar from Bandai. Welcome, sir.
Hey, welcome. It's very exciting stuff. I cannot wait to get started. So
Oh,
excited that I just botched the whole welcome thing, but that's okay. I was so excited by the welcome. I was like, oh, I feel so welcome. Let me say the word welcome. But
You're
yes,
always welcome.
absolutely delighted. I haven't had my giggle juice yet. So here's my Dr. Pepper, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I
there.
promise.
That's all we need, man. I always have a Dr. Pepper with me. I feel you.
It's the
So,
number 2 drink now behind
uh,
freaking Coke.
isn't that
Isn't
awesome?
that crazy?
Nice.
It's like we're winning. This is amazing.
I feel
Finally.
like people don't celebrate that
Initiating
enough.
change. Yeah.
Well,
So.
given that this is the week of Comic Con, so San Diego Comic Con is like the mecca of pop culture. If anybody hasn't gone, like that is where you want to be if you're a comic fan, video game fan, action figure, anime, cosplay, Hall H enthusiast. That's where you want to be.
Yes.
And when we go to Comic Con, my brother and I have gone to Comic Con for countless years. One of the highlights is always going by the Bandai booths. And I say booths because it's plural. There's multiple booths that Bandai does. And Bandai does a fantastic job. It brings you in, it's welcoming. And can you talk to us about your plans going on for San Diego Comic Con this year, Justin?
Yeah, we have a whole lot. And thank you so much for always stopping by the booth. I always appreciate it. It's a lot of time and energy and countless meetings that go into that. It starts off with just graph paper and a couple of Tetris boxes, and
Oh,
before you
nice.
know it, it just turns into this amazing spectacle that is our footprint at shows. And we've come a long way from the pipe and drape days. Now it's really big booths, second story booths sometimes even. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
you hit the hammer on the head with that one with San Diego. It is sort of the main focal point for me in particular. Like we're just now starting con season, and it's basically like my Daytona 500. Like we're kicking it off with a bang, and I love San Diego. It's my favorite show. Been going for 25 years now, and I each show is just better than the next, man. And I'm so excited for what we're bringing to the table. I even have a little cheat sheet because of all the amazing things that we're bringing. So,
Nice.
as I crack the old knuckles here, a couple of things to note. There are basically five, practically six booths that you'll want to focus on while you're there. We have our Tamashii Nations booth, which is always amazing, right? We have our event exclusives. So there is the Goku and Gohan, then there is the Jiren and the Trunks. These three event exclusives, they are absolutely amazing. You will want to go to the Marina Terrace at the Marriott Marquis in San Diego. That's where you'll pick up your pre-order tickets to be able to purchase them. It's a daily thing. If you don't get a ticket, it's not the end of the world. There will be some in the afternoon. It opens up to anyone without a ticket.
Oh,
Obviously, supplies
sweet.
are limited, but you're going to want to get a jump in there. Then we also have Kakashi from Naruto, and then Godzilla. And what's exciting about both Kakashi and Godzilla is they do not require a ticket. You can just walk right up to the booth and get those figures. And additionally, there is a separate Godzilla booth that we're bringing to the show. And it's something to check out for sure. It's right across from the Tamashii booth. The Tamashii booth is booth 3329, whereas Godzilla is going to be 3345. It's literally
Oh,
right behind
sweet.
it. Yeah, and it's this huge display. There'll be a giant Godzilla for you to pose with and take pictures with. No tickets needed for the event exclusive Godzilla or Kakashi. So very
That's
excited
awesome.
about that. And then we have more. There is a Tamagotchi booth on the backside of the Godzilla booth, which is also super cool because who doesn't love Tamagotchi? Me personally, my Tamas tend to get angry and upset with me because I neglect them. I feel bad, but I'm not good at the beeps and the boops, but
Such a bad parent.
right, I know. Like when we were kids, it's like protect the egg in school, and then now it's protect the Tamagotchi at all costs. You don't
The
want this thing.
struggle is real.
It is. It is. as it's funny, I can take care of my 2-year-old just fine, but when it comes to a Tamagotchi, I had 3 buttons. This just appears to be too much for me. But we're also gonna have a Tamagotchi panel. It's called Fun with Tamagotchi, and it is Thursday at 2 p.m. in room 7AB. Very excited about that as well. There's gonna be trivia and fun prizes, so people will want to attend that. And oh my gosh, we were talking about Ultraman earlier prior to the show, and we also have an Ultraman booth. It's part of the Tamagotchi space. So at 3329 in the back corner, there is a whole Ultraman exhibit there with a giant Ultraman coming out of the buildings and everything. There'll be meet and greets with several iterations of Ultraman. The times that they will be there are located at the booth. There's even going to be an Emmy, like a giant Emmy for people to pose with. And those of you
Oh,
Oh,
that
that's gonna
watch
be
sweet.
Ultraman,
crazy.
right? Anyone that saw Ultraman Rising knows that Emmy is like the star of the show. Like absolutely steals it all, and it's so amazing. And it's going to be delightful. And there's even going to be meet and greets with Godzilla, a Mecha Godzilla, and I think it's an OG Godzilla, or it might be an '89,
Oh,
might be like
sweet.
an '89 Godzilla. But
Oh, my.
either way,
Which is still OG nowadays.
yeah, I know, right? So you'll be able to get your picture taken with Godzilla as well. And you think I'm finished, but I'm not. If you want me to take a breather and answer questions, I can do that too.
You're good.
But there's more. Not gonna lie. Um, we also have our Gundam booth,
Yeah.
which is booth
Yes.
3829. I know you guys like the Gundams,
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
and
yeah.
that'll be a shoppable experience. You'll walk through, pick out the model kits you like, find the one that speaks to you, as it were, and then go ahead and pick up that model kit. And if you love model kits, but let's say you're just not really into Gundam, that's okay. We have something for you as well at booth 3829. That is our Bandai hobby section, and that is model kits of all non-Gundam related things. We have dinosaurs, 30-minute missions, like Star Wars stuff and One Piece stuff. Everyone's really big into One Piece right now. Just something for everyone, as it were.
That's awesome.
And yeah, 100%. And then there'll even be Bandai Entertainment has a little section all the way over on I think it's in the A section of the convention center, like when you first get there.
Oh, gotcha.
That's where the video game stuff is. They'll have some activities for you to do there, as well as this really cool Demon Slayer booth that is booth 3613. And that'll have this awesome Demon Slayer exhibits, and there'll be some chibi style mascots walking out and interacting with people. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
Awesome.
Gundam, Hobby, Demon Slayer, Tamashii Nations, Ultraman, Tamagotchi, Godzilla. A lot of
Everything
You
goodies.
had
that's
me at
big in
Godzilla.
pop culture, man. I mean, Demon Slayer's on fire right now. I mean, Godzilla's been on fire, well, since we were kids. And, thanks to -1, it's here again. So,
Right? Did you guys
awesome.
see -1?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I just watched that other one too, the new Godzilla X Kong.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that movie was awesome.
I
New
still gotta watch that
Empire or whatever.
-1 I watched.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of action. I saw -1 minus color. I haven't seen it in color yet. I only watched the black and white version in theaters.
I think the minus color is coming to Netflix in August, so
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
I
Yeah,
got to see
I
it
was
that
like,
way.
that's so cool. How crazy was that movie, right? Like normally
Dude, that
when it
was like
comes,
insane.
dude, it was so insane. And like, normally with Godzilla movies, when it gets to the people part, I'm always just like skipping, skipping, skipping. But it was like a genuinely like beautiful story. Like I was really,
But you felt bad for the people.
yeah, 1000%. And that's talk about like, hard hitting issues, man. Like just dealing with nuclear fallout and loss and just family and grief, just the grieving
and
process.
the
Uh,
guilt, right? Like you
yeah,
came
the
home
guilt,
and like
everything. It was so much. It was a giant pill to swallow. Practically a suppository. It was so big. And so
Yes.
I was I was taken aback, as it were, and just dealing with that. I was like, wow, this is a hard hitting Godzilla movie. It's
it's
Yeah.
what
good.
Godzilla
Yep.
deserved, right? Like we all love
Yeah.
God from way back when. So like you said, to have those like attachments to the actual human characters and not just like, oh, I want to get to Godzilla blasting things, because that's what I always
Right.
wanted.
It's got
Right.
to be the darkest Godzilla movie I've seen, I think.
It's pretty intense. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think for me too, it's probably the darkest one I've seen. There may be something else that's more dark, but for sure that was some hard hitting stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Definitely.
But I've talking a lot. You guys go. It's your show for crying out loud. I don't mean to bogart the mic.
Well,
Now, as far as
what?
all the different booths, how long does that typically? How long would that take you? Do you need like a week's time to set that up,
For
or
for setup, yeah, we usually get started like on Sunday. And then it's a lot of it is like union labor work, so it's kind of hands off for us. But like hanging up signs and putting up, like erecting structures and all that stuff, it definitely starts like on Sunday over the weekend, yeah.
Oh,
But
nice.
once once it starts to come together, and I don't know if you guys have ever been inside a convention center during setup, but it is a madhouse. There's forklifts everywhere, there's pallets everywhere, there's crates
that's
everywhere, uh,
jeez.
just all sorts of different playlists from people's stereos going off. It's a bit of a
It's like a
disheveled
Home
mess.
Depot gone to hell. Just
Prob-
forklifts and
Probably
crazy.
probably a lot
Constantly
of
getting
hard hats
beeped
and
at.
safety vests, right?
Yeah, the construction guys wear the hard hats, but the regular folks, I think we're
Just
expendable.
pray to God.
Yeah,
Don't get ran over by that forklift.
No better place to die though.
100%. Situational awareness. But the actual honest to goodness planning, that pretty much begins the day after San Diego Comic-Con ends. Then
Wow.
it's like, okay, what are we going to do next year? What changes can we make? What worked well, what needs improvement, what could we have done better? Things like that. Like no one's can always be better, right? So there's always room for improvement. Maybe we tried something that wasn't a slam dunk, or maybe it was a good idea but tweaked here and there and now it becomes a great idea. So it's all stuff like that. It's 100% a collaborative effort. There's a lot of people involved, all the way from the warehouse to the very top of the food chain. It's a lot of involvement, and Bandai is very big on collaboration, especially with when you consider all the different brand teams that we have at Bandai. There's a lot of input that goes into it.
Nice.
That's so cool. And I like that, like you said, you kind of learn every year, like what worked and what didn't. Exclusives are a big thing at Comic-Con, and frustrations usually run pretty high because people want to get their exclusives and then they don't want the line to get capped. I gotta say, you guys did a fantastic job last year with the ticket system because, with people going through wanting that Goku Gohan 2-pack, the one with the Ghost Goku.
Yeah, the
Um,
Ghost Coup.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I like
I
that.
was able to get it with the ticket as well. Like, and I didn't go like line up early in the morning or anything. And so if you're like eyeballing exclusives this year, is there anybody like it's doable? Like they have it doable. They're doing it for a reason. They're trying to cut down on the stress. So that way when you go in there, it's enjoyable. You just go in there, you buy your exclusive and then go check out the booth. And like you said, you got all the cool, photo ops. Bandai's always really cool for that. And I mean the booth itself, it's always like the main one where the Tamashi is and whatnot. It's always so cool to see. Like it just towers
Oh,
over
it's just so nicely done with the display cases and everything. Like that's top of the
where you
line
want to
right there.
be.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for saying that. I'm sure the Smosh team very much appreciates that. They put a lot of time and effort and energy, blood, sweat, and tears across multiple time zones. There's a lot going on between
Yeah.
Japan and the US to make that happen. And they would really appreciate that. And I'm glad to hear you're able to get your exclusives. You touched on it for a second there. It's really about just managing the line because there's only so many people that can fit in that space before the line gets capped. And if there wasn't a ticketing system, you would never know when's a good time to return and it would never work out. So this is the best way to, cut down on resellers and make sure that just anybody that wants a figure is able to get one without too much of a hassle.
Absolutely. And it works. And I bet you it's going to work just as well this year, even better.
I
So
hope so.
if everybody's, looking at those exclusives, like make sure you drop by. It's not impossible. It's not, there's still booths at Comic-Con that are impossible. I understand that. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Bandai isn't one of
Yeah.
them.
I know, and it's always rough, like especially when there's like everyone has like a unique program that they're trying. Or I remember one time I had to order the thing online, but then go pick it up at a hotel
Oh
one
yeah.
year, and that was exhausting. And then
I
of
did
course,
that.
Oh, Maddie, probably Mattel, right?
yeah, and of course having it on your phone wasn't good enough. You had to have a printout of like your receipt, and it's like, okay,
Because everybody does printouts
If you
nowadays,
go to
right?
my
yeah.
hotel and print that out,
Exactly. I had to go to a FedEx in like the Marriott to have it printed. I was like, ugh, this is ridiculous. But I mean, I don't think we were quite there yet in an all digital world, so to speak. But it is. I always applaud people for trying new things just to keep it going. You just show that you paid for it and then you come and get it. And so in this case with the ticket system, So like I said, it's located at the Marina Terrace at the Marriott, and that is like a whole Dragon Ball experience, right? Like it's open to the public. You don't need a badge to go in. There you'll see those unique displays you were talking about, some really cool photo ops where you're able to pose your favorite figures, or maybe there's like a diorama piece where you become part of it. There's also a model kit building there. There's trading card games playing there. There's video games being played there. There's all sorts of fun activities that exist within that Dragon Ball experience. It's not just a grab your ticket and go. You can actually really enjoy yourself while you're over there. And there's so much to do at San Diego. It's a bit overwhelming. There's those panels you're going to want to go to. There's the items that you're going to want to buy. There's just the city takeover that exists in the gas
Yeah.
lamp. There's so much to do and so little time. And so the fact that people are able to go and wait in line and then come back to our booth to buy something, that really means a lot to us, because sales are important, but we want people to build those memories and have a good time at their convention, right? Like that's really what's most important to us.
And it flies by.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's what, 5 days or so, but man, it flies by so quick.
Oh,
Uh,
those 5 days will be gone before you know it.
I
Everybody's
know.
fighting for your attention, and you're right. You got to be very intentional when you're there. Like, this is what I want to do. This is where I got to go. We have our little checklist every time we go. We're like, okay, we got to hit this. But we have like 9 booths. Like, we got to hit these for sure. Anything else after that's gravy. But
Right.
to hit these ones, even if it's just to like stop by and talk to people, um,
Sure.
because
What are some of the other booths that you like to stop by to
loyal
see?
subjects for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean's really cool over there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah, yeah.
talked by there. Had to hit Mezco. We talked about that last year when we saw you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Mezco's always got some really cool stuff, man. Like, uh, I finally moved it, but I had I had the Mezco 5 point Batman like 66 set that came out a couple years ago.
Oh, nice.
I'd pre-ordered that and it took like almost 2 years to finally come out. I was like right in the middle of the pandemic, right? So it was gonna take forever. And it finally arrived. I'm like a kid in a candy store when I see it. My face lights up, and then I never even opened it. It's just
that's a
sitting in
Nice.
a
life, man.
box behind me for so long. I had to move it into a closet just so I wasn't reminded every time I hopped on like a webcam and saw it just staring at me.
That's
Staring
that's the
at you from the
Mezco
same
turtles for
corner.
me, man. They're just sitting here in a box. Like,
Right? Isn't
I
that
want to crack
sad?
them open and just like display them and have fun. But man,
Ah,
5 point ones. I know that was your thing. We talked last year.
yeah.
Scooby-Doo, I don't know if it ever came out. I think we were all waiting on that, but
Yeah, I remember the Scooby Doo when it came with like the mansion and the
the different
party
like
wagon and all that
monsters.
stuff. Or not
Yeah,
party wagon, but the mystery machine, rather. You got turtles on my brain now. And yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know if it ever came out, but I thought for sure that they were gonna be taking pre-orders for it. Now I'm
yeah, right.
curious, but I definitely I love what Mezco pumps out. They got some really weird stuff over there, but I'm here for
Oh,
it.
yeah.
They got
They're like,
The
we're gonna
weirder, the
make what
better.
we want, and you're gonna buy it, and that's all there is to it. I
That's
applaud
awesome
them for
when they
that
do that.
attitude. That's so cool. You're like, oh, you got me. I'll buy it. I'm hooked. And then
Always.
they have those like those 112 figures. Those are really good too. I got the Wolverine where he's like destroying the Sentinel, and then I also got the Cyclops. I really like the Cyclops too.
Oh, nice.
Well, they
Yeah.
do a great job, man. I pre-ordered the Casey Jones Comic Con one because I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Casey Jones, man.
Yeah.
But
Love
man,
it.
I bought the very first Mezco 112, that Dark Knight Returns Batman. And of course, like, I got rid of it eventually just because it went for too much. I was like, geez. But I've been a fan of the line ever since. I've picked up like pretty much every Marvel and DC character throughout the years, and now I think I got the Shadow. I
The
got
Shadow, as in like, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? Shadow.
yeah,
What, Lamont Cranston, right? Is that
yeah.
what his name is?
Dude,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
crazy. He comes with like a old phone, and he's got his 2 pistols and the big
That's
funky
so
Oh, the
hat.
awesome.
accessories they come with. It's like,
So
geez.
badass. Oh man, I would love that Shadow. When I was in eighth grade, my teacher, Mr. Smelling, he used to do these exercises where we would listen to old radio shows, and the Shadow was one of them. And then
Oh,
basically
nice.
there would be like whatever, 10 questions on there that you would only know the answers to if you were paying attention to the radio show. And I must have been obsessed with the Shadow. I was like, I bought all those cassettes and I would listen to them like on road trips and stuff when my parents would take me wherever, and I loved every second of it. Same with like the old commercials. I remember there was one, it was like called like Blue Coal, and I'm just like, this guy peddling this blue coal.
Yep.
What is going on right now? Oh
Like
my God, that looks great.
it's the yeah, it's the shadow. If there we go.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so rad. Look at those accessories. That's hot.
Dude, yeah. He comes with a telephone, scales of justice. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's so rad. I'm jealous, and I'm jealous. There was they did a Cable figure as well that I really liked, but I didn't pull the trigger on it, but I really wanted it. Same with Bishop. There was a
I'm still
Bishop.
on the fence on him, yeah, because he looks really cool. I haven't pulled the
Hmm.
trigger on that one either, but they did like the yellow and blue one, and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
the one.
amazing, and it's just almost like you're playing dress up with it, right? Like it's like it's legit like a doll, and I'm like sitting there with like these little tailored clothes, and I'm just like moving them around.
You're
I'm like,
getting like
what is
6 scale
happening?
quality at a 12 scale, you know?
Yeah,
But
I
you're
mean,
like, did I
it's
cross that
amazing.
line? Like, am I now playing with dolls? Yeah.
Right, right. I gotta like break out like the monocle to like look closely at the at the stitching. Like,
The
what are we
stitching
dealing
on the
with over
back.
here?
Yeah.
So it's so cool
Oh,
though. That's the great thing about toys, right? Like, I mean, yes, I work for Bandai and I love Bandai stuff, and so much so that I totally forgot all of our exclusives, and I apologize for that. But it's been a long week. It's only Monday, but whatever. Um, but I mean, I can talk toys all day, guys. Like I love them so much, and it's like we always me and Dave, you guys know Dave Evanson
yeah.
from Bandai. He's great, and
Yeah.
we always joke about like don't get high off your own supply kind of thing. So it's always kind of fun to go pick up other stuff. Obviously, if you were to look around in my house, you would see like all kinds of Bandai stuff. But we always joke about don't get high off your own supply. So funny.
In the Bandai room.
Yeah, exactly. It's like after I crushed up that toy and snorted it right up my nose, kind of thing. But whatever.
Yes.
That's what happened to Cable. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He went up
Yeah.
your nose.
Yeah. Oh man, there's just so many cool things out there. I used to have it within arm's reach, but it's a couple of scoots away. But there was a Marvel Legends of Bishop that was so badass. He's one of those boxes. Let's see, where's my great? One of those boxes right there is is the Marvel Legends Bishop from a couple years ago that I loved so much.
Right there
And
next to Pac-Man.
I know if I could just use
Use
some
the
force
force.
powers.
Before you know it, you find yourself saying, happy 2 year anniversary to the Bishop in the middle of my two arcade
Oh,
games.
I know. And then like Super 7, how they do those like ultimates, I think they're called.
Oh, that's another favorite we like to
Oh,
stop by, man.
dude.
Yeah, so like I'm a
God. Look
uh,
at this.
Allison. Oh, perfect. That's amazing.
They
Um,
got me.
so Alice in Wonderland is like my favorite like
Oh,
Disney movie. It's kind of a weird one, I know, but my lock screen is because I'm in sleep mode. Hold please. My lock screen is actually Alice in Wonderland. Of course, you can't see, but kind of see it. There
oh,
you
no,
go.
no, no,
It's
There
like
it is.
Alice in Wonderland. Anyway, they made those toys, which are amazing. But for my birthday the other day, a buddy got me the Prince John Ultimate,
Yes.
I think
and
you
Yes, I
have
had
that
that
one,
one.
Jason.
yeah,
He's somewhere in
and
that pile.
like he's totally my him and like Hiss are like my jam. When he's like PJ, I like that. You know I do. Put that on my luggage. Oh my God.
The
So
facial expressions on that Sir Hiss. Oh my God.
amazing, right? Like they just pulled him right out of the cartoon. It's amazing.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean I can talk Band-Aid all day long, but at deep down, like I just love toys. So I can
You're in good company then. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
know we can geek out about this stuff all day long. So yes, I'm proud to promote Bandai stuff, but if you see me on a show floor at any convention, let's talk shop. I'm happy to see what you got going on when it
Yeah,
comes
no,
to
we,
other
we talked to
toys.
you before about that too, about like it's not, just because you work for one company doesn't mean you hate the other, like
Right, right. I
so
know.
many people make great products, like last year, Jada Toys, Loyal Subject, Super 7, they all got support from me,
Yeah.
Bandai, everybody, because I have, like you, I have, my hands in a lot of cookie jars. And it's so awesome to be able to just, like we grew up off of this stuff, and now that, we're adults and we're able to just continue it and still provide for our family and be
We're
able
able to feed the habit.
Yeah, eat some ramen this week because I gotta buy a new figure.
We're gonna have
Yeah,
hot dogs
I remember
again.
those days.
Yeah, you mentioned Jada. Those Street Fighter toys are pretty badass, man.
Dude.
Whew. We talk about exclusives. Last year I picked up that Evil Ryu event exclusive at San Diego.
He's sitting in a
And
box somewhere.
yeah, he's at my desk. He's
Yeah.
literally in a box at my desk at work.
Yep.
So stupid. It's like, what am I doing? If I could just like return everything that I ever purchased, I'm curious to see what my bank account would look like.
I don't think you
To
want
be a
to know.
millionaire.
I know. It's so sad. If only I had like a financial advisor like 25 years ago. And that's, you touched on it already, Nolan, when, you sold one of your figures, your Mezco Batman. And I think some part of me always says, "Oh, well, one day I'll get rid of it, or one day I'll sell it." And the thing is, I never do. And then I never sell anything. And if somebody likes something enough, I just give it to them. I'm like, "Here you go, you can have that." I had these. Do you remember when McFarlane did those NHL figures, like in like '99, 2000? There was like a
Yes.
Paul Correa and a Patrick Waugh and all that stuff. So I had those figures, and they traveled with me. So I had them all through college, right? And then I moved to Seattle in 2010, and they made it all the way to Seattle. Then they made it all the way back to California. Still in the package, looking good. They started to get that McFarlane yellow thing going on with the package,
Yep.
right? They look just like your shirt. And then my buddy started, we hired a new content producer, and he loves hockey. And I'm like, you know what? I've been holding on to these figures for 20 goddamn years, and I can't look at them for another second. I hand it to him, and then the next day I come in the office, they're torn out of the package and they're on on display on his desk, and I'm just like, oh my god, God bless you. I
Dude,
could have
you
never
have
done
to.
that, but you know
Because
what?
I was doing the same thing, like with McFarlane's, like keeping them in the package. And just recently, I opened up some, and it's like I should have done this a while ago because some of them, I guess, like there was an oil dripping off of LT's arm. I guess because from being in the package so long,
Sure,
and it had like an odor, like a plasticky odor. It's just from being sealed in there. I'm like,
sure.
oh, these were meant to open.
Did you
We're
pass
meant
out
to
and then
be.
wake up like 2 weeks later to play with your toy, or were, were
Woke up
you
with the
ready to rock
smiley
and roll?
face on.
You
Yeah,
just
that's
woke up and started
crazy.
playing with it. Didn't even ask what
What
day it was.
Good times.
what an interesting line, right? Because like licensing is a whole nother ballgame when it comes to figures, right? I mean, obviously with everything, whether it's apparel or clothes, any hardline good, you're dealing with licensing issues and approvals, and it takes forever. And to just go ahead and make the figures without like any any real logos on them, that's just
Well,
that's
he
that's
did that, and then all of a
pioneering,
sudden,
man.
the sports company's like, "Hey, we want you making our figures," and
Right.
he took over that license, and nobody has touched sports like McFarlane has.
Hmm.
Like I remember, you gotta love the off-wall variants that he would throw in there, like a Tom Brady with a snow base or something like that. I remember I joked with him at a Comic Con one year. I was like, "When are we gonna get a Ron Artest with the trash base?" Because remember that brawl back in
Yeah,
2004
yeah,
with
yeah.
all those
The
Detroit fans, and he
Malice
just
at the
started busting
Palace.
up.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, Malice at the Palace, dude.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh man.
I don't want to say anything bad about anybody, but Jim Gray, this is a guy that I could go the rest of my life without ever seeing him on television ever again. And when he started getting really emotional during that, I was like, dude, relax. You're not going to get an award for this broadcast right now.
Yeah.
I was so irritated ever since like he confronted like Pete Rose and before the World Series. I think it was when the Padres were playing the Yankees actually, and
Hmm.
he was just like, "Hey, are you ready to apologize?" I'm like, really, dude? This is like the biggest stage right now in baseball, and you're gonna have this conversation?
Of
I
course he
just,
was.
what a jack, dude. That guy made me so mad. I,
Yeah.
ah, you just opened up a wound, Mr. Smith.
Bringing back old scars, huh?
I know. God, whatever. I don't want to talk. We're gonna keep this
We're gonna do a whole
positive.
episode just called
Yes.
Old Sports. Just let you guys.
Old
I
sports.
know. Oh, Jim Gray, you hurt me.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet he gets a figure. I bet McFarlane makes a Jim Gray figure one day, and then it's gonna end up on my desk, and I'm just gonna come full circle, and I'll have to deal, right? Like I'll just have to come to
It's
terms with
gonna
it. Life's
end
too
up at your
short.
desk.
life's too short. Don't hold grudges, right? I don't promote that in any way, shape, or form.
No,
Just
be
That'd
go,
be
Mr.
right?
like the
Sato
end of
from
the
the
movie
Karate
based
Kid.
on you. Yeah.
Hold that
Yeah.
45-year grudge.
I know, right? Dude, are you guys excited for the next season of Cobra
Oh,
Kai? Like all
Oh
three
my
parts?
God.
We're just a couple of days
Totally.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like, what,
Oh,
2 days from now, huh?
yeah. Oh my God.
No, I love
Man,
that series.
so good. When it was on like YouTube Red or whatever,
YouTube
whatever the hell it
Red.
was,
I still
I
watched it. It's the only reason I had YouTube.
I know, me too. And like I finished it like in one night. I'm like, all right, that was great. And then I canceled. And then the next season did the same thing. I'm like, all right, let's do this season two. And then
I hope they do that, like, all the episodes at once, because I'll binge watch
No, they're
the
doing
shit
it by
out of it.
yeah,
parts. They're going to keep us waiting.
yeah. I don't know how
Yeah.
many episodes are going to be in each part, but he has three parts. That's
Yeah.
They're
rough.
gonna
And
House
I
of
remember.
Dragon it.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
can't
House of
have those
Dragon.
delays.
They like to keep me waiting.
I know. Same with what's the other Stranger Things? That's one that's like
Yeah.
it's
I
like the
haven't heard
kids are
any
gonna be
news.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna be retired actors
That
by
girl's
the
already
time.
married to John Bon Jovi's son, right?
I know, I saw that. That's crazy. I was excuse me, I was fortunate enough to go to the whatever the last season was. Was that season four? I got to go to the season four premiere in Brooklyn in
Oh, wow.
Oh,
2022.
sweet.
Yeah, and the whole cast was there. It was so awesome. And just seeing them, 2 years ago, I'm like, man, these kids have really grown up a lot. Obviously they're at that stage of development in their lives where one summer is, going to change their
They
entire
can't play kids
bone
anymore.
structure.
Doesn't matter how
Yeah,
But
much you
like,
cut Will Byers' hair. Like
I know, God,
he's the real monster of Stranger Things. His barber is.
I know it's the worst
God.
haircut ever. Same with Finn. Like I always hate his hair too, in like every movie that he's in.
Yeah.
But yeah, just seeing them, I was just like, man, these kids are already getting big. I actually got to meet Ralph Macchio at that thing too.
Oh, very
Oh,
Dave and
nice.
I were
sweet.
there, and he was waiting on his car. It was pouring rain, and we just started talking. I was like, dude, I gotta tell you, man, when I was like 4 years old, my mom made me this incredible bandana out of a dish towel, and she drew, Miyagi's logo on there and with a Sharpie, and she put all the little dots on it, and I was just running around the house with this dish towel on my head, and it was the greatest thing ever. I was obsessed with Karate Kid. And he's like, it's so cool, like for the last, 40 years people have had a version of that story that they've been telling me, where they've dressed up as Daniel or whatever, and that's so cool. And just get to meet him, and he was the nicest guy ever,
That's
like
cool.
literally the nicest dude. They say don't meet your heroes, and Ralph Macchio is the exception. He was an absolute delight. He was just hanging out and chilling with us for like 10 minutes, just talking
Man,
Oh,
about
that's
just
oh,
random
awesome.
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, he's such a
That's
badass.
a legend right there.
I know, it's
Now
so
you got to meet
cool.
Johnny. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hey, let's talk about your actions in that movie where you killed the kid in The Outsiders. You were
Outsiders.
you were kind of naughty in The Outsiders. You were out past your bedtime. You ran away from home and you stabbed a guy. Like we got to talk about this. It's a real
What would
problem.
Miyagi think?
It's brutal. You got people all shot. Like poor Matt Dillon got shot because of you. You got to do it for Johnny, man. Do it for Johnny.
That must have been after the alternate ending of Karate Kid 2. Because
Right.
think about it. What if he had killed Chosen? Then what? Miyagi has to bring him back to his mom, telling him, "Hey, I made your son a killer." Or what if he got killed, and Miyagi has to go tell his mom, "Hey, I let your son die in a fight to the death."
Yeah, that would be a
Like,
real problem. Or he's
yeah.
just in a Japanese prison somewhere. Like he's like,
Yep.
all right, we'll deal with this later. Man, I remember seeing Karate Kid 2 in the theater, and it was they did like this real promotion where it was like free that day. It was like a free day to see it, and the line was just wrapped around the movie theater, and it was the hottest goddamn day. I remember just being a little bit. I mean, whatever. I was like 8. I mean, what first world problems, right? Waiting to see a free movie. But I remember just being so irritated with how hot it was. And then the movie comes out, we're in there, and he's just getting his ass kicked again for like 2 hours. And Karate Kid 2 is like, it's like The Godfather. It's so goddamn long. This is like a 3-hour movie. It feels like
Yeah.
anyway. And he just keeps losing over and over and over again. I'm like, Daniel, we've been through this. Let's go. You're supposed to be a badass at this point. Why do you keep getting your ass kicked over and over and over again? What can you do?
It's the
That's so
I
pinnacle
funny.
of
digress.
Karate Kid, man.
Right?
It's,
And then in 3, he gets his ass kicked even
oh,
more in 3. My God. That movie
Oh,
came out on my
Mike
birthday.
Barnes.
man. Three
Yeah,
was
Mike Barnes.
bad.
Dude, how cool was that he showed up though in Cobra Kai? That was
He
neat.
was
That was
great in
awesome.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, bad boy. I kept calling him bad boy.
Johnny's like, I'm with the bad boy on this one.
Oh
And then he
man,
tells Chosen, maybe you could talk some sense up. I have his address. I
so
was like,
good.
yes.
Oh, I love
Really
and if
good.
it would have ended last season with him just beating the shit out of Terry Silver, that would have been chef's kiss. I would have been totally cool with it. I love that we're getting more. That would have been a very nice bow.
Yeah,
Oh
now
yeah.
I'm a little worried, like, how will it end, because you
Mm.
also have that new Karate Kid movie in the works. So
Yeah, they're going to town. They're turning it like full blown like MCU on us with all
Yeah.
this new shit. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
we're
We need
living in
some
the good
Bandai
time.
Karate Kid figures. That's what we
Yes, you
need.
do. Some. Yep. Imagine the
Really good
articulation.
ones.
Imagine the
Yeah.
crane kick you get on that.
Oh, I know. And that's not a real thing, by the way. I'm just spitballing. These are ideas getting thrown out into the internet. It's not a real thing. And if it happens to be
It
real,
would be great.
I need to show that I have not, proof of life. This is on this
Yeah.
day at this time, I had no real evidence that this was a real figure. Gosh, got to
So
hold
if
up the
somebody's
newspaper.
listening.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
only
I know,
hope.
right? That happens. Someone was asking last San Diego Comic Con. I was getting interviewed, and the guy was really curious about Tamashii Nations and their Street Fighter line, which had been dormant for a while. I
No,
think the last figure that came out was like Sagat in like 2020, and
Yeah, they stopped right before Balrog. I'm like, damn.
yeah,
They had the other
and
three.
right, and so people obviously wanted to get their fix. They started licking their lips and scratching a lot. They needed their Street Fighter figures, and I was like, sometimes Tamashii just takes a break and cools the jets a little bit, and bam, another figure comes out, and then I'm literally on my way to. Fast forward like a month, and I'm on my way to the American Dream in New Jersey, where we just opened up a Gashapon store and a Nanoblock store there. And I'm in the car, and I just happen to turn on Instagram, and I see Instamashi posting a Ryu figure. I'm like, oh man,
like I
he's
didn't
never
know.
gonna
Awesome.
believe that I didn't know that figure was coming out.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere too.
I
Yeah,
know.
like
It's nuts. This one time during the pandemic, we were doing a live stream, and um, I was saying something like, "Oh man, I'm starving. I got to go get some lunch." And then people thought that was a hint for the new Dragon Ball figure of lunch,
Oh God.
and literally the next day the figure gets revealed, and I'm like, I swear to God, I was going to make a peanut butter sandwich, like not even a PB and J, just a PB hold the J. That was all I was doing, and it turned out to be a figure. I'm like, oh, I can't do
Well,
these interviews
damn.
anymore.
psychic man.
Right? If there's anything you want to will into existence, now is the time.
Cobra Kai, Karate Kid.
Right?
Primal Rage.
Dude, now you're talking.
Oh,
I tried to get my hands on a completed copy of that not too long ago, and
Oh my
I decided
God.
to pass on it, but I love that game.
Yes. I
that's
played that
Jason's
game
favorite.
religiously.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I
still know
remember
the
going to arcades
fatalities
with
for Blizzard.
Do
he
you
would
really?
stay there for years.
Like,
Oh
I
man.
they had it at like E3 one year, and they had the arcade, and I sat there and finished the game. And people were like, "Wow, did you just really do that and do like all the fatalities?"
Dude,
It's
that's
just
nuts.
Blizzard's fatalities are etched in my head for some reason.
That's
You
so
remember the
cool.
important things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty big you know, arcade fan. That you can see here, there's a Mortal Kombat machine there too,
Oh,
and
sweet.
that was kind of a non-negotiable with whomever I was going to be marrying, and it was going to be there was going to be a time when I was going to have money to be able to buy an arcade cabinet for Mortal Kombat, and I didn't know when that was going to be. Could have been tomorrow, could have been 100 years from now, whatever. But when One Up Arcade announced that they were doing that cabinet, I was like, oh my God, this is happening. All I got to do is stay alive until this machine comes out, and then I'm going to be happy. So I'm dodging traffic, I'm looking both ways all the time, and I'm just like trying to, like, full
You
blown,
gotta
like,
make it.
quantum leap, like, just bury myself in a hole one day on this day just to avoid death. And sure enough, it comes out. And when you know it, like she was my girlfriend at the time, but now my wife, she was actually in Florida, like seeing her sister play like college softball at a tournament. And of course, it comes out when she's there. And so when she comes home and there's this new arcade cabinet in our in our living room, she's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Baby, we talked about this. This is
Nice.
This is my
remember
hopes and
like on
dreams.
Yeah, do you remember back in like 2017 when I said, "Hey, one day I'm gonna be getting a Mortal Kombat machine, and this is it. Here it is."
Today's the day.
Would the
Yeah,
thing become
and rather
home?
than right, but I mean, a full blown one would cost a couple $1,000s. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
I
the,
it
the
mean,
was a
full
smart
size. Yeah,
investment. No.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it would be fiscally irresponsible not to get this, right? So, I
yeah.
mean, easy peasy. And then it
Those are,
became a sickness. Like after Mortal Kombat came, the next one I got was Turtles, and then after that was Pac-Man. Then after that was the four-player X-Men. I have that over there.
oh
Which,
Oh,
by
sweet.
the way, I don't know if you know this or not, but in when that game was in the arcades, when you use your mutant power, your health depletes. So the coolest thing about your character is that it's a mutant and has a really cool power. So of course you're gonna want to exploit that and spam the button, and all you're doing is killing yourself.
that's why
So you got to
Nightcrawler
put in
always
more
died so
quarters.
quick.
Especially
Yeah,
when you save it for a boss character, and then
dude.
like you're dead, and like Pyro kills you after 2 hits.
Man, as a consumer, that is a total scam. But as coming from from a business perspective, someone's getting an attaboy or an attagirl for that one. That was the right call.
Someone's raking in those quarters.
Right?
Oh,
Scandalous. But when
Hey,
I noticed that, I was like, God damn, good thing I got all these free lives because I would have been murdered by now. Been
hey,
broke.
funny story about the Mortal Kombat one. I was at Best Buy and they had it to play, and I'm on the Mortal Kombat 2, and then I'm Jax and I'm beating the crap out of Katana, and
Mhm.
some lady walks by. She's like, "Oh, hitting women. Oh, that's real cute, right?" And I told her, "Oh wait, you should see what she does to him." And then like, so she stands around to watch like a dummy, and then like, this is finish her. And I did the arm rip fatality. And she's just like, just said, "Gotcha."
Oh man.
yeah,
Which
those are
is like
gruesome.
it's like 4 blocks and a high kick or something like that. That's the
Yeah.
fatality, something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man. Those are the days, dude. I used to pre-computers and pre-internet like get like a GamePro magazine or borrow it from a friend, and then I'd whip out a typewriter and I would just type all the fatalities on the like these little like index cards basically because my handwriting's so terrible. It hasn't improved since I was like 6 years old. True story. It's
Nice.
terrible. And so I would type all the moves and then I'd go into an arcade and I'd be like on my way to the arcade, my parents are driving, I'm sitting there studying the moves so I would know how to do them when I got there. How
Oh,
sickening is that? That's terrible. But
Life was
I
what
great
can
did
you
the
then.
do?
same.
It's the best. I need
I
Mortal
was a
Kombat
bad
figures
kid.
too.
I used to rip out the pages of the magazines at the store sometimes.
That would have been a lot faster. I'm sitting there trying to like be all nice and type stuff up, and I could have just tore the page right out of the
Jason is just
magazine.
ripping it out at a Kmart. Yeah.
Yeah,
The good old
man,
days.
scandalous. There's,
Man.
it is so crazy how that used to be a way that we had to do things. I remember when like Metal Gear Solid came out, and I got to Psycho Mantis, and like he was just doing everything. Like there was no way to beat the guy, and then I go to a store to look at a strategy guide, and I see that I got to plug the controller into controller port 2, and I'm like, what asshole's gonna think to do that?
Nobody.
I know. I'm like, how would anybody know to do that? That is
That
ridiculous.
was our
And
lifeline. That those
dude,
magazines.
God, you remember when Nintendo Power used to have like the hotline to call? Like you'd be like, oh my God, are you stuck? Call this number or whatever.
Yep.
And then they charge $1 billion a minute
We
to
were
do it.
never rich enough to make that call.
I know. It's so crazy. What a crazy world we used to live in where you would have to like just pick up the pick up the phone like, yeah, dude, I'm stuck on this
Tell a
game.
stranger about video.
Called
Yeah.
Nintendo of America.
Yeah.
That's what
So
it
the guy
was.
whips out his binder and looks in a strategy guide to see where you're at. That's so ridiculous.
Where do you think those people are working now?
I don't know. God bless them. Well, hopefully they made enough money stealing money from kids to be
The
able to
Nintendo
retire
money.
somewhere.
Yeah.
They got one
Making
of
money
those,
off of us.
right? Right? Now they're just playing video games in their little bungalow in Bora Bora or something like that.
Living that good life.
Yep. Like play some Nintendo, jump off into the ocean, come back, rinse and repeat, do it again. Good
Oh my
Lord.
God.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds.
Right?
It's
What were we talking about? Bandai, right? That's what we
Bandai,
were.
yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
we strayed off a bit slightly.
This is what
We
we
did.
do. We kind of just go off the deep end on pop culture and
Oh man. I'm a talker. I apologize.
Now, if there
no
was
worry.
a license, like a video, I know it's going to be Primal Rage, so I don't even know why I'm asking. If there was a video game license you'd love to see Bandai get, what would it be?
Video game, it would be Dark Souls. Dark Souls is my favorite game of all time. It
Nice.
was Mario Bros. Super Mario Brothers. Actually, it would be Super Mario World was my favorite game, and then I played fucking Dark Souls, and it is
Yeah.
just the
Sucked you in.
best for me. Oh my God, I love it so much. So, like the SH Monster Arts line, I think would be fantastic to make the bosses. You know, the bosses are always really big and incredible. Or like the Dynaction, the really big like 12-inch figure, or 18-inch figures that they
Yes.
make. Something like that would be really cool for Dark Souls bosses. But if it's like SHF, then I would love to just sort of have, insert class here, But Dark Souls would be my jam. I would just I would buy everything. Like it would be
Your whole
it would
paycheck just going right back to
yes,
Bandai.
it would literally be like a shrine of Dark Souls. I love it so much. I have this really cool lamp that isn't on camera right now. Let me unplug it, but it's ugh, like of the campfires, like where you
Oh,
the Souls
that's
link and everything.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then this lights up. Um, that was a gift. That was a half birthday gift. So I'm
Nice.
that asshole that celebrates my half birthday. It's
Hey,
December
I was about
30th.
to
I'm gonna
If
say
you
start.
want
people
to,
celebrate after.
I'm gonna start doing that shit.
dude,
I've
yeah,
been missing
literally.
out.
Literally a half birthday present, and it's amazing. So,
I'm
I like to
gonna
party.
start
What
that
can I say?
from here
Nothing
on
Um,
out.
wrong with
Half
that, man.
birthdays are a
People are gonna
thing.
give you gifts.
dude, December 30th is my half birthday. If you guys want to celebrate it, let me know, and I will be a part of it. This is a thing, and people. This tradition usually stops with people like around 6, maybe 8. Then they quit with the 8.5 or whatever. But no, not me. I got that on my 41st and a half birthday.
I love it. I love it. That's my excuse.
Right? Oh man, it's the TITZs, man. I fucking love that thing. And it's I love Dark Souls. But if I could be anything else, something above Dark Souls that I would actually get, if I had to make a real like Sophie's choice here, I would go with King of the Hill. I absolutely
Yes.
adore King of the Hill. It's my favorite show ever.
Agreed.
God.
And my God, I want to collect them all. I would have them set
I
up the
saw somebody's
alley.
making them.
What's that?
Somebody's making action figures of them.
I heard about that.
I think it's Syndicate. I might be wrong. I saw them last year
Syndicate.
at Comic Con. They had like,
That's the one that showed like the Chong Li from Bloodsport, huh?
yep,
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
company.
I think I remember that. There was also True Romance figures. Did you guys see those at
Yep, the
Comic
same
Con?
booth. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Same
It's
booth.
badass. I was like, oh my God, I grabbed that, grabbed their
Like
card.
I
Like,
need these. I never knew I did.
we'll revisit this later. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, holy shit, these are True Romance figures. Um, yeah. So King of the Hill for sure, right? I know I'm a
King of the
total
Hill
nerd,
Yeah.
but like,
has the
and
series.
I'm walking around like I'm wearing my Bandai shirt when I'm going to all these booths, and I'm introducing myself to everybody. I have a goal when I go to events, and that's to make friends with at least 5 different booths when I go. And I'm really big on building lasting and meaningful relationships. And the toy business, just like the video game business and probably others, it's a little I don't know if incestuous is the right word, but you work with a lot of the same people throughout your career. And I've met some amazing folks, yourselves included, in my
Thank you.
almost 5-year journey here with Bandai. Next month it'll be five years with Bandai, and I got to tell you, man, I'm still bumping into people that I met when I was doing what you guys are doing. Like me and Dave, we had an outlet called Geek Legacy ages ago, and we would do all the conventions and do all the press lines and the red carpets and all the interviews. And I'm still talking to those same people now. I mean, it's been over 15 years since that, and it's crazy. And like like go full circle, when the first Comic Con I went to as Geek Legacy was in 2011, and our first interview was at Dark Horse Comics, and they always used to have this incredible booth. It was huge, huge footprint, and their PR guy, his name was Ob Driver, and he
Ob
was a super
Yes.
Driver.
cool.
Oh,
Do you know
Yeah.
Ob?
yep.
Okay,
Such a cool guy.
dude, this fucking guy is the man. And
Yes.
we had these little buttons, these little Geek Legacy buttons. I have one here on my desk somewhere, and um, we gave it to him, and he used to wear his con jacket was like a denim jacket, and it had buttons everywhere, right? So no joke, you have seen the Geek Legacy pin on this guy's jacket, whether you knew it or not. And he was the guy that gave us a chance. And we hadn't had any real exposure yet. I mean, our website was really kicking off, and it started off as filming a documentary on what it meant to be a geek. And we were all film students, and so it was a no-brainer for us. And I'm just talking to him for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, man, this guy has the coolest fucking job ever. Like, he just gets to go to shows, talk to people, meet them, get them excited about their products, and I love it. And this is what I want to do. And then, fast forward 10 years, I get the job with Bandai. Fast forward to 2023, and I'm at New York Comic Con, and I've seen Ob off and on over the years, right? I mean, he was in a band. I saw his band play in Seattle. It was awesome. I always kept in touch with him, but he came up to our booth at New York Comic Con, and he's like, Justin, I can't believe what you guys are doing. It is incredible. And I'm like, dude, I literally have you to thank for this. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, when I met you in 2011, I literally thought you were just this super rock star, the coolest fucking guy in the whole convention. And I thought, this guy, this is what I want to do. And meeting you and seeing what you did put me on this path. And I mean, fast forward, literally, it was like, what, doing the math, like 13 years later, and I'm now shaking the guy's hand and hugging the guy that put me on this path to where I am today. And I just think that that's absolutely incredible. And like, I'm like trying not to cry as I'm telling him the story, and he's just like a big softie, he pulls me in for a hug, and it was so cool to just kind of go full circle. And it's just the people that you meet along the way in this journey that you never know where you're going to end up. So I mean, at the end of the day, just stay positive, do what you got to do, like keep your head held high, and spread good messages, and it'll happen for you, man. It was as someone that has done it all, been a janitor, a groundskeeper, a used car salesman. Fucking, I worked at Target. I was the electronics guy. Then I got promoted all the way up to loss prevention executive team lead, and then a store director at Staples, to fucking marketing at Bandai. And it was a 20-year journey, but it happened. And I can honestly say that if it wasn't for the good people in my life, people like Ob, people like Dave, it wouldn't have happened. So I mean, it's a lot of hard work. Some people get their big break overnight, and God bless them. And other people, it takes a little longer. But I am living proof that dreams do come true. And in this case, it just took 20 goddamn years to make that, that
That's
happen.
That's
But
the amount
awesome.
of time it was supposed to take. I mean, it's funny because we can tell a similar story about Ob. Because when we started, we were really big in the comic book industry. And Ob, the first time we met him at a con, like I'd known him from email correspondence. He took my brother and I into the Dark Horse booth, and he just started stacking books on us. And we were walking up, and he's like, "They're with me." And we walked out with like the fifth Beetle hardcover and like all these like, awesome books. And then the next year, he wrote a letter, and he gave it to us for Comic Con, and it said, "Hey, these guys are good guys. They always promote Dark Horse. Take care of them." And I'll never forget it.
wow,
I still have the letter scanned.
that's awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
but you're right. You never know where you're going to end up and who you're going to run into and where it's going to lead. We're kind of on that journey to that 20-year journey that eventually it's going to end. We're going to end up where we're supposed to be, wherever that's supposed to be.
Yeah,
But we're enjoying the journey as we go, and we get
that's
to bump into
fantastic.
amazing people, like every time we get to, drop by and talk to you and David, we go and talk to David at Jazzwares, we talk to Sean at Loyal Subjects. That's the con experience for us, and
Yeah.
we used to be, no lie, we were the exclusive guys. We loved to go in to buy exclusives and say like, look what we got, yeah, take the picture, this is our loot. But not anymore. It's those relationships. So I really love that you said like every con you make sure you go and meet five new people, five new connections, because you never know
Yeah.
where you're going
You honestly, you don't. And I think our first experience, I knew Pastrami Nation because Dave Clark wanted to send you guys like a figure or something, right? So I don't, it was either like a Sentinel, like armored fighting armor
oh
thing, or it
yeah,
was a
fighting
model
armor.
kit. It
It was
was
the
something like
Spider-Man.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, Pastrami Nation, oh my goodness, right? And like, so I actually typed in the order to get it shipped to you guys. And
Sweet.
yeah, and I was like, what a fun name. And then we met for the first time at a WonderCon, and and that was great. And I love that, and I think that that's one of the coolest things. And I'm really good at remembering like people when I can't remember freaking exclusives, but I can remember people. And it's so funny when you meet someone for the first time when you've only ever had an email correspondence. It's so cool. It's like, oh my God, we're like internet buddies, right? Like you're
You're
that
like, you're
creepy guy
real,
waiting
huh?
for me at the truck stop, right? So it's like really interesting that it's come to that, right? And it's so cool. And in the spirit of Ob and paying it forward, I will talk to every single person that is put in front of me when it comes to media or the influencer types or whatever. I don't care if you have one follower or viewer or 10 million. You're getting the same experience. I will ask you, do you want me at a 10 or do you want me at like a 6 or do you want me at a 2? Where do you want me? Let's do this. And if anybody has any sort of like branding swag, I will throw it on my con bag. You guys see me, I always have like my little yellow bag or whatever. Um, I will throw a pin on there. I'll throw a patch on there. Whatever you guys have, I'm happy to represent. And when we opened the store at American Dream, the Bandai Namco store at American Dream over Memorial Day weekend, just this last year, I had this incredible turnout. We had a media hour there. It was in New Jersey, right? And people came from several states to be a part of this, and it was so humbling because I knew that they were coming there to support me, right? Like I'm like, hey, I'm throwing this media hour. You can come in an hour before the store opens. I would love it if you could attend. And I was literally like brought to tears with the turnout. It was over like 35 outlets showed up. And I'm over there. I got all these amazing gift bags. I got like donuts ready, and I had like my RSVP list, and I was like, man, this is incredible. All these people are coming, so I wanted to treat them right, and it was so neat for them to be a part of this. And there's someone that I'd never met before, and he had Lago Figs, and he gave me a button, and I was like, I don't have time to tell you the story right now, but I'm gonna put this on my bag, and when I see you at New York Comic Con, I am gonna tell you an incredible story. Don't let me forget. And so at AX, everyone's taking their photos and doing this and that, and I just kept seeing like Bandai in different feeds, and me just sort of being like that Alfred Hitchcock just cameos all over the place, like, man, look at me, I'm in that photo, I'm in that photo, I'm in all these videos unintentionally, and like total photo, like epic photo bombing. And I sent him a picture. I was like, dude, your Lago Figs button made a lot of appearances at Anime Expo, and so it was really cool for him to see that. And
That's
I
awesome.
can't wait to tell him the Ob story.
No, that's so cool. And it literally is like that tribute to Ob because he would always rock that vest, and now you have the bag that you get.
Yeah,
And I mean,
1000%.
it's so cool, man. And Ob's over at IDW now. So
Yeah, yeah. So he's
I
actually when they used to have an office here in San Diego. I went there one time with David Clark actually.
Oh,
They were
nice.
a nice bunch. But yeah, Ob's based out of Portland, right? And he's such a good dude. I can't wait to see him again.
yeah, I'm going to Rose City this year. I'm hoping I'm gonna, see him up
Oh
there
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
IDW booth because
Yeah,
that's in his backyard. So
sure. There's a lot of spitters in Portland. Every time I go there, I walk out of a restaurant and I see people spitting all over the place. I'm like, what are you guys doing over here? Like,
I'm
have a
gonna have
little
to.
pride in your city. Why are you spitting on the ground? Get out of here.
I got to ask our podcaster Kevin about that because he lives out there. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the deal?
Why is everybody spitting everywhere?
He's probably a spitter.
Dude, I went to like that Voodoo Donuts, and the first thing before I even open up the door, some guy steps out and just starts spitting. I'm like, well, that can't be a good sign.
Nope. Hack a lung.
Yeah,
Now I'm gonna keep an eye out because if that's a
yeah.
thing, I got to bring attention to it.
We got to count it. There's a fun game that we like to play at cons, and the twist for this one can be when you go to Rose City, can be counting how many people spit.
I'll try to take video
Nice.
too. So I can make like a cool
Yeah,
reel of it, like
yeah,
35, 36.
yeah,
And you know what? I'll be going to Voodoo Donuts too. So
yeah. There you go. Rocking that death metal and eating your donut with like Captain Crunch on it or whatever the hell it is.
Fruit Loop
it's
donuts.
so good.
I
Yeah,
had one of those from some mom and pop spot, but the Fruit Loops were like hard and stale and like they hurt my tooth. I'm like,
that's
damn, I should have
awesome,
got something else.
You got some
dude.
dime store Voodoo Donut. Don't do that.
Man, I'm good I'm ready to rock and roll with just like a chocolate bar. Like I'm a simple creature. I like the easy donuts. So if it could be a gas station donut, but if it's a chocolate bar, I'm ready. I'll rock and
Pray
roll
to
that
God
thing.
it's
I'm
still
like, all
good
What
right.
though.
did I have
Yeah.
in State Line? Because State Line's a dump now in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
It's like basically eerie ghost town. But the gas station, there's a place called Pink Box Donuts inside there. Oh my
Nice.
God, those are so good. I guess
That's
Pink
worth it.
Box is a thing out there in Vegas, but yeah, pretty good donut.
Dude, we were talking about inflation prior to this show starting, and I remember when $5 got you a dozen donuts in that brown or in that pink little square box. And
Yep.
2 weeks ago we got donuts at the office, and it was like $20 a dozen. I was like,
Oh,
"Are you
dude.
serious?"
Yeah, I went
I
to
feel
some
like my
mom and pop the
grandpa.
other day. It was like 15, $16. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, for a donut.
And that's
What?
only simple donuts. If you want the fancy ones, you got to pay like $2 extra per donut.
That's
Like,
crazy. What?
Remember they
most
used to throw in like
what
one or
was that?
two? Like
Yeah,
now you're lucky if
Baker's
they throw
dozen.
in one. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Now
just
it's
look
like,
at you and
well,
put half a donut in there.
yeah. They're like, sorry, guy, we got to keep the lights on. It's
Yep.
don't be coy. Make with the cash. It's all good. You're like, dude, relax. I just want a chocolate bar. Is that a $20 chocolate
Inflation's
bar?
hurting everybody.
Dude, it's nuts. I
The
can't.
struggle is real.
It is. I can't get over it. And I literally feel like my grandparents like complaining about it used to be a nickel to go to the movie theater or something like that. And it's happened. Like the metamorphosis has taken place. I'm now the crotchety old man. You know,
We're
I'm
all
I'm
old now.
right in our 40s. We've had a taste of awesomeness, and we're just chasing a dragon. Like what happened? Like it used to be so good. There's like this golden era, and then we're those assholes now. We're like, shit, back in my day it used to be whatever.
You could get a gallon of gas for 72 cents, you know?
Yeah, dude.
I
Oh
remember my senior year of high school, those rich kids, it was 96, senior year, rich kids that had cars. Well, it wasn't me, of course. I was riding the school bus all the way through it. But they're bitching in class about, can you believe it? Gas is up to 103 a gallon. I'm thinking, damn.
you're like, dude, you got wheels. I'm over here yabba dabba doing it over here on this rock.
Yep. Hiding my head when I get on the bus. I'm like the only senior riding the school bus.
Dude, I remember when I had to ride a bus. So I had a car. I had an '89 Toyota pickup. That was my car in high school, and it had a we had to get some changes done to it when I first got it. And my sister had always driven. She was a year older than me, and so she always had a car. So I always had like wheels, and when I had to take the bus home this one time, like I felt so lost. I was like, is this the bus that I like? I don't even know. Like, is this one gonna get me home? Like, I'm new here. I know I've lived here my whole life, but I have no idea how to ride this bus. Can somebody help me? I felt like such a tourist, and it was bad. And like I'm like I see some kids that maybe I guess went to my school, but I'd never seen them before. I'm like, where are you hiding at all day? I've never seen you before in my life.
Like, am I on the
Like
right
new
bus? I've never
freshmen.
seen.
Right. I'm like, you live in my neighborhood? Like I've never seen you before. What's going on? It was interesting. Talk about making new friends. There's some interesting
Yeah.
folks on that bus.
Oh man. Oh man.
Man, this is awesome. I could do this all day. What a great
Right.
Hey,
show you
remember when
guys have.
Comic Con tickets used to be $65 at the window
I
back in
do.
like 2003?
And it's funny that those windows still exist. Like when you go there and you see that
Yeah.
they got like the steel doors kind of like blocking them and everything. I was like, man, there was a time when you could just pull right up here and like on a Saturday and be like, give me two, and it not be a
Before those
problem,
Twilight kids, took over Comic
right?
Con.
That's
Yeah.
when that really happened, right? Like
Yep.
that's
With
when
Twilight.
people camping out for Hall H, and it's like the panel's on a Friday and it's a Wednesday and you guys are already camping out. That's crazy.
Oh, it was
Exactly.
those Funko lines were insane too. I remember it was
Yeah.
2016. They were selling a Bob's Big Boy one across the street at some Funko pop-up shop. It was like limited to 480, and they were selling it on Friday. And me and Nolan walked by on Wednesday. There's people lined up in front of that like to camp out. Like you're really gonna miss like a whole day's
Con.
worth of 2 days
Yeah.
of con for freaking Bob's Big Boy.
Nothing's worth that. No.
Yeah, that's part of the con culture too, right? Is like, you get your shopping done, right? Like I know that for me, like Thursday was always sort of my shopping day. Preview night, I would always just kind of take a lap and just see what was going on. And any photo ops, I would get my photo done, because there was no line. Yeah, it was very low key on preview night. And then Thursday, I would get my shopping done. And then Friday, Saturday, I would just enjoy, panels and having a good time. And then Sunday, if I went, then it was just kind of a last minute, like I was holding out on a figure, like maybe if it still exists, if it's still there, then it was
Yeah.
meant to
I
be.
still
I'll
have
buy
the
it.
extra money. Then let's go.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same way.
exactly.
Saturday was like the for me it was the hey, go hit the con floor, see what else you've missed, but also hit the masquerade, because we've covered that so many years and it's always a blast. Like the masquerade's insane. Like these
Yeah.
people get all crazy. We saw a dude dressed up in this big old dragon costume and he just fainted, but the dragon tail held him up.
Oh, because it was made out of metal. So he was
Yeah.
like sweating, like his hair was drenched. Everybody's like, give him some air, give him some air. Because they took like
Dude.
the dragon, the long neck, that came off, and his head's right there.
But
And
the
he's
tail's
like ready
holding
to
him up.
pass out because he basically baked himself in an oven because a lot of that was metal.
I couldn't imagine, man.
Yeah.
Like I
Cool
baked just
costume, but yeah, I don't know if it's worth
Th-
feigning.
That is
Want to hear a funny
nuts.
story? One preview night, me and Nolan go there, and I think it might have been Bandai that was selling this cool Mega Man figure, uh, articulated one, and we wanted to run and get in that line. We went with this one bozo who, no, no, we got to go to the DC line. They're giving the poker chip. It's going to be hard to get. And then yeah, we were like, you go do that, and then like it's a poker chip you're trying to get. Like, you go do that, and we'll go, and we end up getting our Mega Man. And this guy, did you get me one? I'm like, they had a limit of one, like we told you that, and they sold out like before the Wednesday night ended. And then that poker chip that he wasted like 2 hours in line for, we walked up like 3 days later and got the same poker chip. They just let us have two, or
Oh
like because
man.
the DC giveaway stuff, they do that constantly. But
Right.
this guy, no, no, he's real adamant about, no, no, you guys need to come over here. And they're like, whatever, see ya.
and that's why me and Jason are like a two-person team for the most.
Yeah. That's the way to do it, man.
We think
Is
the same
is
way. We know the priorities at con, like we just go.
yeah. You mentioned it, right? You have your checklist, you know what you gotta hit X, Y, and Z and get it done. And I see for me, like I hate carrying stuff. So like
Oh, yeah.
I usually don't buy anything at cons. It has to be like a total holy grail kind of moment for me to buy something. And I don't want to walk around with it. So I'm
Agreed.
just like,
Oh, they
I
make the
can't.
boxes so huge, too.
Yeah.
Hasbro.
It's bad.
Shit.
Now I'm lucky because if let's say we're at a show on the East Coast or something, then I'll just if I do get something, I can just throw it on a truck and it'll arrive at my office in like whatever, 10 days or
Dude,
something like
that's
that.
cool. Dang.
Yeah, makes it easy.
Is
Yeah.
I
there
don't even
anything you're looking for at this particular con that's caught your eye?
so not exactly, but so I mean I love like Blizzard, like World of Warcraft has been a staple in my life for since like 2006, and they always had fun exclusives, but they just announced that they weren't going to go to San Diego this year, and I was really looking forward to going over
That's a
there and getting
shock.
something. So as of right now, there's nothing that me personally I need to go and get. The new Godzilla figure, the Tamashii Godzilla figure, that one's really badass. So I might pull the trigger and get that. So that's the '89 Godzilla event exclusive.
Nice.
So I
It's
might
awesome.
get that. But
Gotta
I
have
mean,
that kind of
uh,
souvenir.
yeah, I'm kind of a weird Godzilla fan. Like I definitely love minus one. And, as a Dr. Pepper drinker, there was an amazing Dr. Pepper commercial tied with Godzilla 1985. So that will always have a soft spot in
Yes.
my heart. But up until recently, man, like Kong Skull Island was my favorite Godzilla movie. So I'm, I'm that asshole, right? Like, yeah, I like that Kong movie. It's pretty good.
Oh, it was like, especially this newest one was like, wow.
A lot
I,
going on in that new one.
I want to
Yeah.
see that. Was it a Monster Arts Scar King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty gnarly. And I mean, I want a SHF of John C. Riley from Kong Skull.
Yes.
That guy's like low key one of my favorite actors of all time, man.
Oh, that guy's
Love I
hilarious.
love him in everything he does. I don't care if it's Days of Thunder, Boogie Nights, or like Kong Skull Island, dude. I just love everything that John
With
C.
Dewey
Riley does.
Cox. Oh my
Dewey
God.
Now
Cox,
it's gonna
yeah,
pop up like a week after this airs. All of a sudden, Bandai's gonna announce it.
right. Yeah. Can you imagine?
Figure Arts Dewey Cox. Hey, you never
Oh,
No,
know.
not
you
doing.
never know. Can you imagine?
Oh
Sold.
man. Well,
Oh,
we better wrap this up. Justin,
already?
thank you
Oh
so
my
much. No,
gosh.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I know you're super busy because it's con season, and this is the Super Bowl, you know. But we hope to see you over there. If you guys are going to con, please stop by one of the many Bandai booths. The Tamagotchi one sounding tempting too. My stepdaughter's really big into Tamagotchi. I heard that damn thing beeping all day yesterday, so might have to drop by.
Yeah. And there's gonna be all sorts of fun Tamagotchi stuff there, not just devices, but also fun items to collect that are not actual devices.
Oh, cool. They don't
How
make
about
noise and
Yeah,
drip
sweet?
it. Mm.
there's gonna be all sorts of fun things, and I think that everyone's gonna have a blast at the Tamagotchi booth. And
Well,
if you
we'll
can
have to
make it to
drop
the
by.
panel, if you're going, yes, it is on Thursday at 2 p.m. in room 7AB. So
There you go, everybody. Make sure
be
you
there.
mark that down. And just like we said, you got to really plan for con. So plan out what you want to do. I think the Comic Con app even has it where you can mark like which ones you want to do, and it'll send you a reminder. So mark Bandai stuff, mark Tamagotchi, because yeah, go check that out. Justin, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
And everybody, make sure
Yeah.
you go follow Bandai, follow Bandai Collectibles, Tamashi, all the fun stuff. And yeah, we'll see you later. We'll see you at con. All right, Justin, you take care.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.